Most people would agree that plant foods, specifically fruits, vegetables, and grains, are healthy. But if that was the case, wouldn't the majority of people be healthy just by consuming these foods? If Americans consume over 70% of their calories from plant foods, why are we one of the unhealthiest countries on the planet? The reason for this is that true human nutrition actually lies in animal foods, as plant foods don't have significant amounts of the vitamins, minerals, elements, and fatty acids, all of the nutrients that our bodies need. We lack the digestive capabilities that herbivores have, and many of our modern health problems are attributed to this misunderstanding. So not only are we unhealthy, people are led to believe that this unhealthy diet is good for us. Just about everyone has suffered from these incorrect assumptions to some degree. We are going to take a look at a pregnant woman who is not exactly vegan, but certainly believes in plant-based nutrition. I gotta step up my music game in my videos. Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Good morning, guys. This is a what I eat in a day video showing you roughly
You got the
what
claw
I eat.
going on.
What I eat changes every day, but this is just what I'm eating today. Typical London weather, so I thought it'd be a great day to film what I eat because I'm inside all day working. So I usually start off my day with a breakfast bowl smoothie, and it's
You guys like the
only
Bratz
thing
doll
that
look?
stays consistent in my diet every day.
I kind of do.
Always have one if I'm at home, and I'll show you the recipe. It is so delicious, and this is what I have almost every morning.
The color of the shake is getting progressively uglier.
Smoothie bowl that I have almost every morning. I change up the fruits a little bit, but I pretty much have the same thing every morning, and then I just top it off with some fruit.
Gray slop. Yum.
And then because I am 20 weeks pregnant, I take my pregnancy vitamin, and it's got folic acid in it, which helps the baby develop. And I always take that with a tea. Today I'm having peppermint. And there's my little puppy. Hey, Murphy!
I think it's really hysterical how these people are literally eating slop out of a porridge bowl with a wooden spoon, like that movie Oliver Twist. To me, it's like I can't make things up. But this smoothie bowl has no semblance of nutrition whatsoever. I was actually happy to see that she's taking that Pregnant Care Plus pregnancy supplement, but she said that it has folic acid, which is good for the baby's growth. Yeah, that pregnancy supplement has about 3 dozen other nutrients that are important for the baby's growth. It shows how little people actually understand about the importance of vitamins in developmental stages of life. All she really put in that smoothie was a bunch of sugar and fruit powder and vegetable powder, which doesn't really give you anything. You know, the strawberries, the bananas might have a small amount of vitamin C, but it's really only sugar. She put some green cube in there, like some frozen vegetable thing. Again, we have plant forms of vitamins that aren't getting digested because the human digestive system is not capable of metabolizing these vitamins efficiently, and they need fat. The only fat she put in that meal was some cashew milk, and cashews are high omega-6. They're very inflammatory. They are picked by slaves who have swollen hands because cashews are in the poison ivy family. She put in some vanilla protein powder, some dates, and some almonds. The dates, just more sugar. Vanilla protein powder, oh hey, let's just add a protein powder that has 20 or 30 ingredients made in the laboratory in it, and a handful of almonds. Why not have more anti-nutrients? Nuts, especially the cashew milk, in general, seeds are very high in phytic acid, oxalates, They bind to minerals, take them out of the body. It's essentially like dousing your stomach with a mineral absorbing liquid that inhibits the overall nutrition in your diet. On one hand, if you're eating, a handful of nuts a couple of times a week, that's not that big of a deal. But dousing your stomach with this high phytic acid and oxalate shake every day makes sense as to why we see so many vegans with anemia that have a pale appearance that aren't healthy.
For lunch, I'm going to marinate some tofu. And I'm going to make some Mexican, are they tortillas? Just going to prep the food, going to make a guacamole and salsa, and then just cut some lettuce up.
These vegan girls have some new competition on the block with the music selection.
And I'm just squeezing the excess water out of the tofu so I can marinate it. And I'm just going to season it with some maple syrup and some soy sauce. And then I'll let it sit for an hour.
We've seen this before.
I'll mix it in, let it sit for an hour in the fridge. And I almost forgot, I'm going to season it with a tiny bit of chili powder.
Well, that's a new one.
I like to mix 2 different cheeses. This one, and then I'm not sure if you saw the other one.
That's not cheese.
And now I'm just making a batter for...
They shouldn't be able to call this cheese.
Got a marinade on it, but I've just got some self-raising flour, chili, pepper, and a bit of salt. I'm going to mix that around and then coat the tofu in it. And I'm just having some carrot juice that I juiced yesterday, and I'm going to start cooking the tofu now.
Oh man, gotta oxidize those omega-6 fats real well.
I've just made
in that non-stick pan.
And I've topped it off.
Don't forget to inhale the Teflon.
Guacamole and the chili.
It's a lot of food.
Can mix. And I've made 5 of them, and I'll probably eat them all because I'm really hungry.
Definitely seeing some typical vegan eating habits, from the food choices to the food volume. That is a crazy amount of food, and these people have these giant plates of food in front of them, and they're always complaining about how they're so hungry, they're starving. Yes, your body is starving for animal nutrition because you're shoving 5 to 6 pounds of plants down your throat every day, and you're not digesting it. The tofu, to me, is arguably the unhealthiest food on this planet that people think is healthy. Omega-6 fats, specifically linoleic acid, are incredibly inflammatory and literally the sole cause of heart disease. We see a lot of these vegans put the maple syrup, the soy sauce, or the coconut aminos to marinate the tofu to make it palatable with salt, sugar, flavoring, because it really is a laboratory poison. There's nothing else to describe it. Of course, we got to throw the avocado in there, the salsa, guacamole, dairy-free cheese. These dairy-free cheeses are usually made from plant-based oils, which is just adding more inflammatory omega-6, not to mention the 10 to 15 ingredients that they're adding to make it taste like cheese. She was drinking some carrot juice. And I mean, yeah, there's some foods here and there in this meal that I would consider, okay to consume on their own. Like, there's nothing wrong with consuming certain vegetables, carrot juice. A lot of the whole plant-based foods aren't necessarily going to harm you, but then she's throwing in, these high omega-6 modern man-made foods, all this processed stuff that has dozens and dozens of ingredients. And to top it all off, when you put this tofu in a pan, you're oxidizing the fats. When you cook omega-6 fats, they're very prone to oxidation, and they're probably already rancid. So when you throw them in a pan, especially a Teflon pan that's giving off harmful chemicals because of the coating on the pan, all you're doing is causing an incredible amount of oxidative stress in your body. If there was some sort of test that would show you the internal organs of these vegans, no one would eat tofu, let alone follow a vegan diet. I think you could just show people how tofu is made, and anyone with half of a brain would know that it's not good for you.
Also, this is my 20-week bump update. I've just eaten that. Yeah. It's like actually there. can see it. So the sun's decided to come out, and Murphy and I are going to go for a little walk around the park. If I can find him. Murphy! You want to go walkie? Come on. Come on. Everyone always thinks Murphy's a boy. A girl because of his collar. But I just really like pink. So I'm not very strict on what I eat or my exercise routine. I don't think it's very healthy if you're like too strict, like healthy on your mind.
You only eat plants.
Or like to restrict yourself from eating. I don't think that's very good. And it's not good for your metabolism either. So if you're hungry, you should definitely eat. Yeah, thank you. Just gonna have a cinnamon bagel.
Now we're talking. Getting the good stuff out.
I just sprinkle some sugar and cinnamon on the bagel.
It wasn't sweet enough in the first place? Glycogen straight to the brain.
Dinner time, and I made some pesto pasta the other day, and I saved the pesto, so I'm gonna probably make the same thing. It's just, what's in it? Almonds, mint, handful of basil leaves, olive oil. It's got some pecorino cheese in there.
Oh, she used real cheese this time.
And you just blend it up, and it's so delicious. Recipe from Jamie Oliver. So I'm going to make that with some pasta.
Pasta.
And I'm just cooking up some chicken as well. And I'm going to I've chopped all this broccoli, and I'm going to cook that as well with the pasta. I'm also going to make garlic pitta, and it's so easy to make. You just get self-raising flour and natural yogurt and knead it all together so it's like a little dough, and you have to make it really thin, and then you just put it on a hot pan, and then I'm going to
she just like moves like she's exhausted, like she has no energy. Same like how she's talking.
Olive oil as well. And that is pretty much it. The pitta on with olive oil and garlic. And Murphy being fed. And that is dinner finished. There's Alex's and mine.
Oh, more green slop. This doesn't look gray this time. She's pretty much vegan outside of the pecorino cheese that she put in the pesto and the chicken breast that she had for dinner. In the context of a vegan diet, this amount of animal protein might prevent a B12 deficiency, but the nutrients that are contained in animal foods are contained in the fat. You need to consume quality animal foods, shellfish, wild-caught fish, grass-fed meats, pasture-raised eggs, high-quality grass-fed dairy products, and if you're not consuming those things, you're not really going to see much of a health benefit from the average types of animal products people consume. But why are all these girls so obsessed with eating plants and they're in love with dogs? I hope they feed their dogs primarily meat. That's all I can really say. I can definitely get down with the cinnamon raisin bagel with a little bit of butter here and there, but she didn't put butter on it. She put sugar cinnamon on a cinnamon raisin bagel. I think there's an issue with like food palatability, their sense of taste, and the need for sweet things. It's very evident that these people are lacking energy despite injecting themselves with sugar every hour or two. I mean, you would think that from the outside perspective, this girl's following a relatively healthy diet unless you actually recognize the amount of omega-6 fatty acids she's consuming, especially oxidized, rancid fats. If she wasn't consuming all of these high omega-6 nuts, seeds, oils, as well as tofu, then her diet would be far less inflammatory. I mean, the pasta with pesto is just, what am I going to say? It's just really carbohydrates. The chicken breast with broccoli, you're getting a little bit of protein, but broccoli, again, it's a plant food. It doesn't have a considerable amount of any vitamins. And of course, we have to finish the day with some more green slop. But again, relating back to the food volume and the frequency of these vegans eating and the amount of sugar they need to keep their blood sugar, constantly going up and down. It's kind of weird how these patterns aren't being recognized by the general population. And I guess part of that is it used to be viewed as healthy, and it still kind of is, that eating meals frequently and snacking frequently is good for you. So everything we've been told to believe in our modern society kind of falls in line with veganism. That's why people get sucked in, and it's so hard to get sucked out, because when you're a vegan, everything you've been told your whole life about fruits, vegetables being good for you kind of falls in line with the diet. And when someone comes up to you and says, oh, you need meat, or you need to eat this, you need to eat that, animal foods, you say, oh, no, of course not, because that goes against everything you've been told. Like, oh, yeah, no, duh, animal foods are bad. I mean, at the end of the day, we have a lovely young girl here that is better off than probably 99.9% of people on this planet. Unfortunately, she is pregnant, and I mean, thankfully, she is taking the prenatal vitamin. That might help her to some degree. Child will definitely not develop optimally. We always notice the immediate lack of development in the facial structure of these children when they're born. So we'll see how things pan out. And there's going to be a lot of interesting information coming out over the next few years with all of these vegan pregnancies. That is, if they don't miscarry and blame it on their genetics. So thank you guys for joining me today. If you'd like to support me, please check out some of the other videos on my channel. Of course, guys, please like the video, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and share it if you can. Recently, I've launched Frankie's free-range meat, my goal being to provide you guys with high-quality, nutrient-dense animal foods. So if you are a pregnant or nursing woman and would like to make sure you are giving your child the most nutritious breast milk you can, check out frankiesfreerangemeat.com. And of course, this applies to anyone just looking to be a healthier version of themselves. And maybe you don't have access to these animal foods, especially at an affordable price. So again, guys, go to frankiesfreerangemeat.com. You can read more about our story, more about our mission. We're looking to do things in the future, such as sourcing raw grass-fed dairy. Thanks again, guys, and enjoy the rest of the week.